Hello and welcome to the Superhero Show. I am Chris and this is not Daniel, this is Gav.
Hello.
And I'm not really Chris because I'm jet lagged, so this could be rough.
But I am really Gav.
But let's go into it.
Okay.
We've just had Halloween.
We have.
It's been scary. So we
scary.
thought we'd talk scary superhero movie moments.
Yeah.
So we picked 3 each, kicking off with, you got your first one, Gav?
I have got a really good one. It's one that absolutely terrified me when I was a kid. And it's Jeffrey Jones as the Dark Overlord in Howard the Duck. That was a really, really scary character. Like, I remember actually hiding behind my sofa anytime he came on. I mean, my sister used to watch Howard the Duck quite a lot. And I always knew that, just a couple of horrible scenes, kind of when he's first transforming in the coffee shop. That's really, really awful. But then right at the end when he turns into the actual monster, and it's a really, really disgusting monster as well. But it's still got kind of Jeffrey Jones's voice when he's talking. No, absolutely foul. It's really horrible.
Why did you watch that film a lot? Was it because you liked it or because you just had it?
I don't know. I think because
we all watched terrible films when we were kids and didn't really realise they were terrible.
I think maybe it's because we had it. Maybe it's because we had it on tape. And it was at the time, there's no way my parents could have known the connection to Star Wars and gone, oh, he's like Star Wars, so you like this sort of thing. But I think, I don't know why we watched it.
Because I remember hating it as a kid.
Yeah.
I probably watched it 3 or 4 times because it was called Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
And that seemed like a cool thing. But I just remember being bored every time. But you're right, that was a really terrifying
It's
scene.
horrible, yeah. I don't want to see Howard the Duck again because, although if we did see it, I'd want the Dark Overlord to be in it again and see what they do with it.
But would you want Jeffrey Jones or should we not go there?
Probably not.
Let's not go there. My first one was a tough one actually to pick because I wanted to have a Joker moment.
Okay.
But there's so many.
Yeah.
You know, there's been 2 great Jokers in the live action films and there's been loads of good scenes. You know, there's the pencil scene and there's the scene in the cell with Batman with Heath Ledger and then...
Yeah.
But for me, Jack Nicholson, that was a kind of a young time in my life. I was 11 when I went to see that at the cinema.
Yeah. And
he was very, very frightening because he was funny and scary, and that's a really frightening combination when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Because you can't get your head around what it is. And it was such a larger-than-life performance that Jack Nicholson gives. So I've gone for, although there's quite a few kills in the film that scared me, I've gone for the bit where we first see him. Where Jack Napier first sees himself as Joker. Because what's so brilliant about it is we don't see him, and often what's scarier isn't what you don't see.
Yeah.
So you're just getting, the surgeon who's worked on him is really terrified, and then the camera kind of pans in and it's all in the shadows and you can see the influence of Tim Burton's a big Hammer horror fan and it feels like a scene from an old Hammer horror.
Yeah, there's even a bit where a light is sort of going back and forth. You see the shadows moving back and forth as well. It's that scene. But when you showed it to me just now, I remember it being scarier than it is. Because I think when you're a kid, you think, oh my God, it was so disgusting. But actually, when you watch it, you go, as you said, I think, oh, no, he doesn't actually do anything in that scene, really. It's just the sort of, it's not even a reveal in it. You just sort of see this really horrible
But that's what's frightening about it. And also, it's kind of the anticipation.
Yeah.
Because also, you're waiting for him to kill the surgeon or do something terrible. He doesn't actually in that scene.
No.
But, it feels like... there's some Frankenstein in there, some Jekyll and Hyde, some Phantom of the Opera, all in this one very short scene.
Yeah.
And that it really frightened me as a kid. And even the doctor saying your nerves are completely severed. It was like, oh, that sounds frightening. Yeah, and painful.
There's even a parody of it in the Simpsons episode, and even the Simpsons episode bit of it still creeped me out. I really, really didn't like it. For my other one, I've gone for Batman Begins. Sort of towards the end of Batman Begins, where Batman uses the Scarecrow's toxin on him, and
classic.
The thing that he sees is basically a tar Batman. And first, you see these bright eyes, but then it's I think it's real. It's got to be prosthetics or maybe makeup, because it just basically looks like a huge rubber real bat, but with a human face, half human, half bat, talking to him, and he talks this really, really low voice. And it reminded me of another one that almost made it into my list but didn't, which is when Dorian puts the mask on in The Mask, that kind of human face but rubber and a little bit bigger than a normal human face, coupled with a really, really deep voice. I don't know, something about that really, really creeps me out. I didn't like it.
I know what I'm dressing up as for Halloween next year. Coming in the office like that.
Are you going to do Batman blackface?
No props.
I'll be careful of that.
My number 2 is Doc Ock reveal in Spider-Man 2.
That's very cool.
Just because it's maybe my favourite scene in all the Spider-Man movies, because I guess it's because it's Sam Raimi, the director, being Sam Raimi, because he's done 1.5 studio films by this point.
Yeah.
And it's just him going back to his roots, going back to the horror roots. And it's so well shot, and it's that slapstick horror that he does so well. And the tracking shots along the floor, and there's a gag with a chainsaw, and there's really horrible people, hysterical, being killed in horrible, unpleasant ways.
There's really horrible screams in it, I remember. Like, I just watched it now, and like there's that shot of the woman being dragged, and she's basically scramming her nails along the floor. Like, that's pretty great.
It's just him really enjoying himself and kind of flexing those muscles.
Yeah.
And it kind of ends with Alfred Molina letting out this roar of no, and it's just like the one in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay,
But in this one, he nails it, and it's
good.
like a really great moment. Whereas in that one, it's exactly the same scene almost, but it's just that's it done right and that's it done wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a really fun, frightening moment.
Well, my third one is also a Sam Raimi moment. From Darkman, and there's a bunch of like really weird scenes in it. There was one that I almost picked, but you said it just made you laugh when you were
I almost
the pink elephant one.
Yeah, take the effing elephant. It used to make me and my brother laugh a lot. I wish I hadn't said that. Though. I didn't want to take you out of it, because if it scared you, it scared you. It was just his acting in it. It was a bit. His acting in that film's all over the place.
It's crazy. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Something as a kid that didn't sit right with me when I was watching it, and it was just like, it's the editing, which is like really awesome, like Sam Raimi shots. There's a lot of like sort of twirling and zoom in. There's those, and then just like the colours are really vibrant, so it reminds you of like, oh, this is going to be quite fun, and then it really isn't. And there's like when he actually snaps the guy's fingers, it's pretty disgusting. But I'm not going for that one.
No,
I'm going for a scene where he's sort of dancing around. I think he's like dancing, pretend to be like a freak in a sideshow, and he's like basically having an argument with his cat, and it's a really weird scene. Like, if you watch it when you're young, it's not very nice.
No.
Yeah, but I was trying to find one from like Avengers or something like that, but it's not really that many scary moments. And no, it's more like the older ones before superhero movies had this sort of, you know, this vernacular where they're just like, now superhero movies look like a certain way.
Yeah, and I think the Marvel ones as well. I think you still got a chance with DC of it. You know, obviously you had the Nolan films.
Yeah.
We could have picked a bunch of scenes from the Nolan ones.
Yeah.
And you know, I think Batman v Superman next summer might be pretty nice. There could be some nasty, frightening scenes in that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was trying to think of like frightening, and there was because I actually am pretty afraid of Bane in Dark Knight Rises, like just like his presence and just like his evilness. But there's that really awesome scene where I can't remember his name, but it goes, "What are you?" And he's like, it's an amazing like sort of back and forth, and you think, I'm actually pretty afraid of him. But I like that one as well.
My final one is a weird one, but it's not just my scariest superhero moment, it's my scariest film moment ever because of when I saw it and what it did to me. So it's Superman 3, which came out in 1983 when I was 6 years old. And I remember vividly going to the cinema with my mum, and they had like little lobby cards on the chairs, and there were pictures from the film. And I saw the picture of this scene and started getting upset then, like saying to my mum, I don't want to watch this. And she sort of, Superman, it's fine.
Don't be a baby, sit down.
But as the film was progressing, I remember being really nervous about this, and it was really messing me up. And then the scene comes, and it's when the character Vera, who's played by Annie Ross, the sister of the villain, she gets that they've built a machine to kill Superman, and it's malfunctioning, and it kind of pulls her in with a tractor beam and turns her into a robot by putting these metal plates and these wires all over her mouth, and she makes this kind of ungodly noise. And it was just the thought of this transformation happening to you. And then she comes out and she's this robot firing off lasers, and it terrified me. And now when I watch her come out as the robot, I'm like, well, that's not frightening. But still, when the scene before when it's happening to her and I hear that noise, I still like feel like a little bit of wee might trickle down my leg. I'm so frightened.
There's quite a lot of that we've picked like independently, like transformation scenes. Like, because I guess that's going from like normal to something like super weird. But yeah, I think I didn't really remember that scene when you were talking about. When I watched it, it's pretty silly. Like, but I can imagine seeing that as a kid and really not like it.
I was borderline hysterical. So there you go. Those are our 6 scariest superhero movie scenes. But what are yours? Let us know. The address is superheroshow@ign.com. Speaking of which, we have some feedback. I'm going to read out the first piece.
Okay.
And it's to do with the show last week. So I guess last week, I haven't watched it because I just got back off a plane.
Yeah.
And you did it without me.
Yeah.
Iron Fist was the talk of the town.
That's right.
So you were picking your casting for Iron Fist.
We were picking our favourite ones. I told you, I've had some sort of comments throughout the week because I picked Jesse Plemons and everyone's saying he's too ugly to be a superhero, which I don't think is a very nice thing to say.
No. What was the hot favourite the two of you picked?
What's his chops from? I can only think Cousin Matthew, and that's not his name, from Downton.
Oh, Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens, that's it, yeah. Cousin
I
Matthew.
thought you might pick Dan Stevens.
Yeah. Because I think he'd just be really, really good.
Yeah. Good man. All right, so first bit of feedback is from George Hanson, who says, "Hello everyone from New Jersey."
Hey.
And when I first read that, I thought it meant hello from everyone from New Jersey, which is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said, "I absolutely loved your episode about Iron Fist this week and have one perfect choice of my own.
Yeah.
That being the superb Landon Liboron, who can be seen... Have you heard of him?
Absolutely not.
Landon Liboron, who can be seen right now in the final season of another Netflix show, Hemlock Grove. Oh. While that series gave little room for its stars to shine, Landon was a fantastic performer who excelled in action, drama and humour. He has a swagger similar to Danny in the comics and really struck me as someone who can hold his own with actors a bit older than him. Danny being quite a bit younger than his fellow hero for hire Luke Cage would be perfect role for him." Oh. So that's really good, someone we don't really know.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Thanks, George. We'll check this kid out.
Yeah, and Hemlock Grove is finished now, so he's got stuff on.
Did you watch it?
Nope.
I never watched it. I feel bad about it. I might want to watch the transformation, the first episode. Everyone says it's good. And then,
really?
And then stop.
We'll check it out then. I've gone from Vincent Borg from Sydney, Australia, who says, "In 2013, I had this discussion with a friend and we both settled on Star Trek's Chris Pine to play Danny Rand. We both agree he could play a character that's quite similar to Kirk in his light-hearted attitude, but can change to a serious tone as well as being quite physical in stunt scenes. That will happen now as he has a role within the DCU, but he would still be my ideal choice." I don't know.
Yes, no?
I think he's too big.
Too big.
I think he's too big a star to do it now.
Sylvester Grogan says, "I think Matt Ryan on Constantine would be a good choice. He's had experience playing a supernatural character on a DC show, and even though he's a bit older than what you would expect from Iron Fist, I think he would make a good Danny Rand. Also, he kind of needs a job." Oh. Now, Sylvester, I'm going to have to pick you up on a couple of points here. If he's played a character in a DC show, that's going to make it tougher. Yeah. Particularly one they've said is going to be returning to the DC universe in other shows. Yeah. So I think the problem there is
he already has as well.
Yeah,
I think, yeah. He already has cropped up.
I think the problem is that he's still Constantine. Yeah.
I never saw that, and I kind of don't want to.
It was alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite liked it.
Didn't fancy it. Anyway, Chris James says, "I was just thinking about your candidates for who will play Iron Fist, and I was wondering, although he's already made it, maybe Ray Park, as he's already got the kung fu element and would attract Star Wars prequels to watch Netflix. Star Wars prequel fans to watch Netflix as well." I like how he says he's already made it. Like Ray Park is like a household name.
Chris, have you seen Ray Park act?
I've seen him in X-Men.
He could bring the X-Men fans in as well.
He's bringing the Star Wars. He must be taking the piss.
No, I don't think so. I think he's too old. Yeah. I'm not sure he's too good an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, someone else. I don't want to be rude. Someone else suggested Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow. I think we've got to think of people that aren't already signed up to play superheroes on a regular basis. Here is one from Ryan Carroll, who regularly writes in and says, "Hey guys, with Marvel on the verge of possibly cancelling its Netflix Iron Fist series, is this something I've not heard this?"
I think so.
Oh. I shouldn't have read this out then. Yeah, I probably won't read the rest of this out then, if that's not true.
What's he saying? They're cancelling it?
Yeah.
I freaking hope not. We just done an entire show about it.
Right, alright, I'm not going to read the rest of that, but tell us what you know that we don't.
DJ Kento. Is that his name? Oh, is he a DJ or his name is like...
Might be David Jones.
David James Kento. "I'm kind of bored with the white playboy type in superhero films. It's always bothered me that Danny Rand was white. His character is so heavily based in faux Asian culture that I kind of think it's lame that he's just a white guy in the comics, especially since his father is meant to be from this mystical Asian-inspired city. I say drop the white guy casting and let's get some more people of colour in the MCU. I really like the actor Aaron Yu, who's always played supporting roles in films like 21, Suburbia, that Friday the 13th remake, but he's got a lot of comedic time in. I'm sure he'd be up for the challenge. Harry Shum Jr. is another actor I think will be cut out for it. He's going to be the next Crouching Tiger film. He was in that Mortal Kombat web series, and he's an amazing dancer who would totally kill the part. I'm up for that.
We had a lot of emails on this front actually about whether they should change the colour of the character and where he's from.
Yeah.
Because Grant Smith sent in a very long email, which was really good email, but it was really long as well.
Yeah.
But Riley Alexander wrote in on this front as well. I want to say I love the show and I watch it every week, but I'm sad to see the past few weeks there's been an episode missing here and there. Sorry, I want to apologise for that. We missed a couple. It's just impossible. Me and Dan are both away and we've not planned in advance enough, but we'll try to never let that happen again. Anyway, he goes on to say, Iron Fist is one of my favourite Marvel characters, and I was really excited when they announced they were doing a Netflix show, especially after seeing how great Daredevil was. When you were talking about who should play the character, I can't really see any of the actors you mentioned in the role.
Not even Jesse Plemons.
Or not he. I was wondering what you think of Marvel casting an Asian American in the role. I think that East Asians are really underused in American cinema, and it would be great to see one playing a major superhero role. It's too often that we see the white man taught that the ways of East Asian martial arts, like in Last Samurai and The Karate Kid and Daredevil. And I think it's time we see more Asian actors get big roles.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm fully in agreement. I mean, the internet will probably go mad if they do that, but I've got no problem with it.
F the internet, that's what I'd say.
I just watched Supergirl last night, the first episode, and obviously Jimmy Olsen is African American in that one. Whatevs.
Doesn't make a difference.
Whatevs.
Doesn't matter. We got an email on something else from Michael Evans. It says, hey fellas, I was wondering why you still haven't given any love to the animated films from DC and Marvel. Both regularly hit it out of the park, especially DC. The 2-part adaptation of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns ranks as one of my all-time favourite Batman films. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these films. They should not be ignored. And that's all the way from Edmonton, Alberta.
Yeah, I'm going to... Now, we've talked about doing this before.
Okay.
I'm going to level with you guys. It's because we haven't watched enough of them.
Okay.
Like, we do want to do this, but it's like we've got to buy them all and watch them all.
There's some really good ones, though.
Yeah, I mean, I want to watch... I will watch The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
Because one of them is free on Amazon, the other one isn't.
Okay.
I was waiting for them
well,
both
one
to be
part
free.
is free and one isn't. Like, part 2 is free. And it's like, well, I can't come watch that. So you've got to pay for it and get part 1.
I see what they've done.
Yeah.
But we will get around to doing that.
Yeah.
And we'll give people a heads up so they can write in the week before and tell us their favourites.
You'll really like the Year One, which I was just IMDbing now because that's the one that Bryan Cranston is in. He plays Gordon.
Yeah.
But what's his name? Plays Bruce Wayne, the guy who plays Gordon in Gotham now.
Yeah.
Like, which is kind of weird. He's obviously involved in that world. But I really, really like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a couple of them. Like, if they're on Netflix, I watched the Wonder Woman one, the Doctor Strange one. I mean, they weren't brilliant, but yes, we will get to it, I promise.
Awesome.
Again, on another subject, this is from Quebec, who says, Agent Coulson spinning off into a successful TV show and also appearing in the comics has proven Marvel can create an interesting character in the films that translates well into other media. Do you see any potential in Marvel creating new characters in their films that can follow a similar pattern? I think that's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
And one I hadn't considered before.
I think it's really good. I think Coulson, I don't know, he gets quite a lot of love. I think he's alright. Like, he's quite interesting. But, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. If Joss Whedon's created it, then it's probably going to be really, really good.
Yeah, it's just that I guess there's such a rich history of characters.
Yeah.
Why create new ones? But at the same time, they've got this brain trust there. If someone comes up with an idea for a new Avenger to slot into the movies that fills a hole, as it were.
Well, I guess Coulson sort of was kind of like, not faceless, but he was like the faceless shield guy who tied them all together at the beginning. Yeah. And then got a really, really good personality afterwards.
Yeah. No, I don't think he was brought in to be that character to begin with. No. He was just a means to an end, wasn't he?
So he served a purpose.
He was like a Basil Exposition kind of character.
Yeah.
But
I guess now that they've kind of opened up the universe, it kind of feels like if they were going to create something, they could probably just use that as an excuse to bring another character into it.
Yeah.
I'd rather.
But at the same time, they might just. I mean, there's so many characters they've got to choose from. Like, maybe once they've stuck everyone on screen.
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, creating all these different like new people and stuff like that. But then I watched some of that and it was a bit rubbish, and I just kept thinking, when are they going to bring like the actual Avengers into it? So. But yeah. Final one from Leon Davey, who says, hi guys, love the show and watch most of them.
Yeah, I only highlighted that bit because I'm disappointed, Leon. I think If you go away and watch all of them and then email us, then we'll read it out. He did say something interesting.
Did he?
But we're not going to read it out.
Sorry, Leon. I would have read it out, but he's the boss, so he says I'm not allowed to.
And going from one awkward moment to another, sometimes interviews don't go as well as you want them to. I interviewed Ben Foster for the film The Programme recently, which is very interesting. But biography of Lance Armstrong and what happened there. And I accidentally called him a magician, not a wizard in Warcraft.
You say, like, a lot of time interviews don't go well. A lot of yours that you show us will be like, oh, a really weird moment happened. You have a lot of weird moments in your interviews.
I do. It's because I challenge people. All right, I mean, that was a mistake. But then, you know, we do the superhero show. I wanted to get some X-Men chat out of Ben Foster because he plays Angel in X-Men The Last Stand.
It's weird.
He didn't seem that keen on talking about it, and so we're going to play you the full scene. You played Angel in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Did I?
How do you feel about someone else playing that character next summer in a new movie?
Great.
Have you had any chance to meet the young actor or speak to him about it at all? Or
Why on earth would I do that?
I don't know.
Why on earth would this ever cross my mind?
He might have phoned you up. I don't know.
For what? It's a different damn movie. It's a different character. I played a guy with wings, I don't know, 100 years ago. And I'm grateful to be a part of it then. But this machine of X-Men does not look like it's slowing down, and I look forward to seeing whoever and whatever wants to play a man with wings.
And they do the time travel thing now, though. So you could meet your younger self in the future, if
Or you could go to the future and see me as a geriatric angel, and I think I'm more ready for that today, after late night last night, than I would be for putting on the Levi's and doing a strip.
Right, so you warmed up at the end a little bit.
Yeah, I have to say,
laughing.
when you first came back to the office and you were like, oh, it was weird, this happened. I don't know, it's not that bad, but it is kind of like...
There was a weird energy in the room.
Yeah.
He didn't want to talk about it, and I kept pushing it, because that's my job.
Yeah.
And he could have just said something nice about the new guy, but he just didn't want to talk about it.
The new guy is Ian Beale's son in EastEnders.
That's how I should have gone in with that.
So he was a big EastEnders fan.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, I guess what we can take from that is don't expect to see Ben Foster returning to the X-Men universe anytime soon.
That's sad, isn't it?
Very sad. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you want to write in to anything about what we talked about this week or suggestions for shows, because every week we panic because we can't think of what to talk about.
Don't tell them.
Write into our superhero show at ign.com, and as ever, keep it here on IGN for all your superhero needs.